My parents forced me to let them organize my entire wedding, then during rehearsal dinner, began insulting the one thing I picked myself. I told them their comments were hurting me, so my dad laughed in my face and said, "You're too sensitive." That's when I saw their true colors. This was 4 months ago. Yesterday, my mother left 27 voicemails begging to meet and apologize. As a kid, my parents made it clear to me that every single thing I did needed to be approved by them first, no exceptions. The best example I can give is when I was 6 years old, trying to choose between a blue school bag with stars and a pink one with flowers. My hand hovered over the blue one because I liked the stars. I liked how it made me feel, like maybe I could be a star someday. But then my mom sighed loudly. She frowned at me, telling me to pick up the pink one because I was a girl. I wanted to protest, but my dad crouched down and gave me the low, serious voice he always used when I was misbehaving. He told me that when I made choices without their approval, it showed disrespect. That if I kept doing it, they'd have to stop being my mom and dad and would leave me. I remember my stomach twisting. I shook my head really fast and said I didn't want that, so I grabbed the pink backpack even though I didn't want it. On the way home, they kept praising me for listening to them. Fast forward to me as an adult. I work as an event planner. I organize huge weddings, corporate parties, you name it. I am really good at it. But when it came to planning my own wedding, I completely fell apart. At first, James, my fiancé, and I were excited. We toured this gorgeous venue with these cathedral ceilings and big windows that let in the sunlight. It was perfect. I loved it instantly. But the second my mom walked in, she wrinkled her nose and said it was too showy. I felt this automatic panic rise in my chest. Without even thinking, I told James maybe we should look at other places. He looked confused, but he rolled with it. From there, it just spiraled. Every detail, every tiny thing, I gave up to keep my parents happy. I picked the dress my mom liked instead of the one I had dreamed of. I changed the menu 3 times because my dad kept deciding he did not like certain dishes. We even moved the wedding date because apparently spring weddings were unlucky according to my mom. James tried to bring it up a few times. He asked if I was really okay with all these changes. I smiled and said I was happy to compromise. I convinced myself it was fine, but it wasn't fine. By the time the rehearsal dinner came, I was a shell of myself. I had lost weight and was barely sleeping, but I still thought if I just made my parents dinner, it would all be worth it. The restaurant we chose was my parents' favorite. The menu was their favorite. I even got my dad's college buddy to give a toast. I thought they'd love it. But instead, my mom pulled me aside halfway through and told me the centerpieces looked cheap. I didn't know what to say, and to add insult to injury, I overheard my dad loudly questioning our honeymoon destination in front of everyone. I felt my cheeks burning with humiliation. It felt like someone stuck a knife right between my ribs. I walked over, shaking, and tried to tell them how much their comments were hurting me, but they just said I was being sensitive and reminded me how much money they had spent on the wedding. My dad insulted me, saying the wedding was a reflection of our family and that I had turned it into a disaster. Something in me broke then, or maybe it healed. I do not even know. I just felt this strange calm come over me. I thought back to everything my parents did to me. Every time I had to ask them if I could be friends with this person. Every time I had to ask if I could order this at a restaurant. Every time they made me believe I was dumb and incapable of making my own decisions. And I realized one thing. My parents are insane. Flipping insane. And if I was my friend, I would tell me to stand up to them and not back down. So that's what I did. I looked my mom straight in the eye and told her I was done. They were no longer welcome at the wedding, and if they had a problem with it, they could talk to the wall about it. This was the first time I'd done that, and they stared at me in disbelief, like I was joking. They actually thought I was. But then they realized just how serious I was. My dad started to protest, and I just cut him off, my voice shaking but firm. I said this was not a negotiation. They weren't